What's up, everyone? This is Should I Feel Strongly About episode 11. Oh, man. Today we are talking about, I guess my main theme for today is no fitness slash physical activity slash exercise slash movement is wasted. So no movement is wasted. And there's an inspiration to this. So recently I was quoted in a Wall Street Journal article by a journalist that I've somewhat become closer with, working on a couple other projects. Um, and she wanted to write an article about how to come back from COVID and start exercising again. And I'm sure this isn't specific to COVID, but like everybody's starting to get a little stir crazy after it's been a year of like this complete uncertainty. Weather's starting to get nicer. People are wanting to move more. People are getting over having had COVID or other like flu sickness stuff because it's just that time of the year is hopefully now past us. Um, so getting back into moving or starting moving if you never have before. So the idea being that anything you do will count. And your body is going to adapt to the demands that you place on it, um, no matter how high or low of an intensity that is. So, obviously, moving into movement, either for the first time, if you're just starting to make some changes to your health or wanting to do that, or if if you were an athlete and had to kind of like take a step back because of gyms were closed for a while, you were sick, the weather's been pure crap lately. Um, you have to take into account what your activity level was prior to that little hiatus that you took from working out. So obviously, if you've never, if your capacity level is that of being able to walk a mile pretty intensely, probably not the time to start training for like a triathlon right out the gate. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today and go through. Two things I think are going to be helpful because you're going to want to start off slow, regardless of what your previous level of activity was. Whether you're coming back from a sickness, a hiatus, or if you've never worked out before and want to start. So there's a lot of moving parts to all of that, and obviously going to be very individual, but there's two main things that I think are going to be your friends when you're first starting back out to something. So the first being movement snacks, or this concept of movement snacks. Meaning like we snack throughout the day, right? Like we're not eating meals all day long. We, have some grapes in between meetings, or we'll have, some crackers later on, some popcorn at the end of the day, whatever. Movement snacks in that term there. So movement snacks meaning like any movement or small chunks of movement throughout the day that probably feel like nothing in the moment, but they really add up to building that capacity for your body. The second thing that I think is going to be your friend is RPE. So that stands for rating of perceived exertion. And there's a couple different scales out there, but it's scientifically backed, and they've used this for a long time in like fitness research and stuff like that. It is highly subjective though, so that's the other thing. It's not very objective, but I think that's the great thing and why it's so good for you for when you're first starting out back to some level of activity, because it's highly subjective and it's highly individual. Your rating of a 10 out of 10, which is like maximum effort, is probably going to look different than someone else's rating of 10 out of 10 maximum effort. So when you're first starting out with stuff, start with low level RPE. Can you hold a conversation with somebody if you were required to? Or, just sing while you're doing things just to make sure that you're kind of keeping yourself in check and moving at a sustainable rate, right? So RPE and movement snacks are going to be super, super helpful as you start moving again. So regardless of your prior level of activity, the movement snacks are going to be super helpful, I think, just in, accumulating time on your feet or just like accumulating small chunks of movement. Now, that can be like 3 minutes of walking in between meetings. That can be also like maybe taking some meetings on a phone call and like pacing around your house. I tend to pace when I talk on the phone. So if you're able to do that, that would be good. It could also mean doing, a set of push-ups when you first wake up in the morning or after, your lunch. If you kind of like stack those little snacks on top of other habits, like when you're waiting for your coffee to brew in the morning, maybe do a couple air squats as you stand in front of it instead of checking Instagram. That's another concept called habit stacking, which I won't really talk about right now, but that's also in the research as well in terms of making changes or positive changes. So little tiny things, like they all add up and it feels like nothing. But I also think that's good, right? Like your body's getting something, but it's not feeling like it has to crush itself to get something productive out of it. So it's really like low hanging fruit for you when you're first starting out on something. And obviously this goes without saying, but if you did have COVID or the flu or some serious illness preventing you from working out for an extended period of time, talk to your doctor before resuming things. But do it smart as well, right? Like listen to your body. As soon as the weather starts getting nicer, everybody gets super excited to go for a run. And then all of a sudden you've run 5 days in a row and now your knee bugs you or your ankle bugs you. Start off slow. Don't discount the power of those lower intensity movement snacks and listen to your body. Anything like your body is going to respond to the stimuli that you place upon it. Your body doesn't know that back squats at 80% of your 1 rep max were scheduled for today. So that doesn't mean necessarily skip that workout. Maybe you go a little bit lighter, but your body didn't know that you were supposed to do 80% and now you're doing empty barbell. Like it'll still respond to that effort that you're putting into your body, regardless of how defeated you feel thinking that you're, taking a step back with things. So start off slow, listen to your body, rate yourself, do an audit when you're moving, see if you can hold a conversation. Is this my maximum effort? Can I hold a conversation? Is this sustainable for the 30 minutes that I kind of planned on working out? And then move throughout the day. Those are my biggest recommendations when first starting out with this. So today was kind of a shorter episode, but short and sweet and to the point, so you get actionable steps right away, right? So subscribe if you want more content like this. And I'll see you next time.